we did autism, and my name is Kyle.
I'm David.
Some statistics about it. About 1 in 68 children in America get it every year, or just like 1 in 68, yeah. And then boys are 5 times higher than girls at risk of getting it. That's pretty big. And more than 3.5 million people in America have it right now. And then in this graph, you can kind of see like the different countries that have it. And right now, Western Europe has the most people with autism.
Causes, it's an abnormality in your brain function, and it's the CHD8 genes that causes autism. And doctors believe that it's environmental, such as when your mom's pregnant, like things that her habits and stuff, or just a genetic mutation that causes it. And there's statistics that relate to causes, like if you have a sibling that has autism, 35 times more likely, and then if women that are 40 years older or older have a 50% higher chance of having a kid with autism. And then when women don't take prenatal vitamins when they're pregnant, they have a higher risk.
Treatment, ABA, it's when you create a new skill and practice that one skill over and over, so you break it up into smaller steps so you can build a more complex skill over time. And DIR, or floor time, it's a developmental relationship-based therapy that is when a caregiver helps them with communication and core social skills.
Symptoms, there's social impairment, which is like little eye contact or little interaction with their peers. And then communication issues, they're slow to respond when they're called to, or they are like delayed in language development when they're little, so they don't start speaking until later in life. And then they repeat phrases or speak using single words. And then there's like symptoms can vary, and there's symptoms such as like not wanting to be touched, or they have food intolerances. Albert Einstein was believed to have Asperger's, which is a type of autism, and he showed many traits of it. And he had 3 kids and loved them all, but hated for them to touch them. He had a problem with words and interacting and learning, so he dropped out of school.
And in this picture, you can kind of see it is not using like A, T, C, and G, but right here, it's supposed to just be an H, but it has a different letter here. And so that's kind of like how autism is formed. It's just like you get a different letter or a different gene, and it just kind of messes up with the DNA replication.
Gene therapy, genes are made up of DNA, and for gene therapy to work, a gene vector has to transport DNA into the cell. A vector is like a DNA vehicle. It brings the DNA into the cells, and the vector has to be customized especially for that disorder that you're trying to cure.
And this picture, this is a diagram showing like how gene therapy works. And then you start out with the gene, and you put it into a virus, and then they stick the virus into you. And then as viruses do, they spread around your body to cure whatever you have. And then it just shows it going into the genes or cells.
Gene therapy has been tested on animals with similar disorders, like brain disorders, and it reverses some of the behavioral and psychological problems. And doctors, they haven't found the exact gene, but they're finding the genes, mutated genes that they can replace. And gene therapy isn't an active treatment; it's just in research, so they can use it in the future. This is another picture showing gene therapy. Protein synthesis, and like when a cell is mutated, it means that like there's excessive protein synthesis, which increases the levels of EIF4E, gene, and this gene is one of the mutations related to autism.
Can you guys answer a couple questions? But before that, Travis, will you go back to, it's like 2 slides, maybe it was a picture, this one? I just wanted to see this real quick. Okay, so, and this kind of explains it, but, after, in gene therapy, so they pick the virus that they want, the virus carries the DNA that they want, right? So she talked about it being a vector. So they put the gene the normal gene into the virus, put the virus in the body, the virus infects the cells, right? But then what happens? How is it that virus, like, it takes over a cell, but how does it make it so that the protein has been made? Did you figure out that, like, last step?
Like it changes the coding back to like what it's supposed to do.
So it changes the DNA of that
Yeah.
existing cell back to it, okay. And then, will you guys walk through the protein synthesis process with me? So in a normal person, and will you go forward, Travis? So excessive protein synthesis, so this is like they have too much of a certain protein?
I think that's what it was trying to say.
Yeah? So, so it's not necessarily that, the protein isn't right, but it's like they're making too much of this certain one. In that case of autism, I know that there are lots of different genes that are associated with it. Okay, so can you guys walk through in a normal person, how does protein synthesis work? From DNA to protein, will you give me the steps?
Like it goes from DNA and then the mRNA will kind of like copy it. Well, the DNA splits and then the mRNA will copy it and then it will break off in the tRNA and then it will code for the nucleic acid.
So the mRNA breaks off of the DNA, and then what happens? So it finds a ribosome, and then what happens? mRNA is at the ribosome, and then what happens? You guys get that? mRNA goes to a ribosome. What
Goes
about
to
the
tRNA.
tRNAs and stuff? What do the tRNAs do?
It transfers the code for proteins.
Okay, so they carry a specific thing that makes up proteins. What do they carry?
Amino acids.
Yeah, so they carry the amino acids to the ribosome, makes the